Hello, welcome to Minecraft Alpha Let's Play with Blackblade. That's me. I don't remember the last time where I left off. I guess I was just digging down here. I'm not too sure. Okay, I had to cook myself some meat, so that's alright. I haven't played this in a while. I just uploaded the part 2 yesterday, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I did get a lot of requests for the part 2, so yeah. I didn't get lots of requests, I got 2. And that was from the 2 subscribers I gained from this Let's Play so far, which I think is quite good, 2 subscribers for 2 parts, that's 1 subscriber each part. I think I'm growing at a rate I didn't think I was going to grow at, so that's fine as we speak. Oh, okay. So today I decided to bring a topic to this discussion instead of me yabbering on like I was in part 2 and part 1. Now, what I wanted to talk about was maybe, I don't know, I was thinking deep discussions. I was thinking stuff about life and the meaning of life. And I was actually thinking of going to maybe different routes of science behind life. One of those routes I was thinking about going behind was, if you haven't heard of it, it's very interesting. I don't believe I hardly believe any of it, but it's called spirit science. Now, it's more about, it's weird, it's about different dimensions as you see them. So, just say first dimension, okay, so 1D, okay, so 1 dimension. You think of that as like a way you see something, and that's the way you should see it. It's the way you see the world, basically. Then you got your second dimension is a higher way of thinking, so it's a higher way of seeing the world. Now, this is where 3D comes in, because according to spirit science, I'm just quoting them basically right now, we live in the third dimension, and now the third dimension is basically everything we see in our everyday lives. So that's the house you live in, so from the third dimension you have to see everything in the first dimension and second dimension. So with that information under our belt right now, I'll go talking into the fourth dimension. Now the fourth dimension is a higher way of thinking, higher way of seeing the world we live in, higher way of manipulating matter, and I think that's quite interesting to see the world as not as something that can't be, I guess, controlled, but something that can't be controlled by something with such a small brain as ourselves at this point. Now they talk about higher beings being anything between, mostly like people like, let's take an example, Jesus Christ is one of the things they use. Now, I'm not religious at all, but in what they would say, basically Jesus Christ is not a savior, he's kind of like a prophet, and that's how they see him, that's how they put him in this. So he's a prophet. I found that. Okay, that's good. Okay, so he's basically just a prophet that's able to manipulate matter at this higher level. So he's basically at level, let's say 4. We're at level 3, he's at level 4. So he's what they call Christ consciousness. So it's a higher level of consciousness, level 4, which technically we should be entering in 2012, is what they're announcing. Now, I don't believe this is true. I'm just saying it's an interesting way to look at life and the way we live our lives, the way we kind of see everything around us. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm not trying to say, okay, this is the right way of seeing stuff. I'm trying to figure out, what is the right way of seeing stuff in this world, and, how we should be perceiving the world, how we should be looking towards other prospects, like, that's why I was coming up with this, looking into other prospects. So instead of just going, oh, that's just stupid, that could never exist, that's retarded, that will never happen, I was thinking more of the way of, this might happen, and this might be true. I'm not an atheist, I'm more of an agnostic, so I believe that there is no evidence of God, but I do not deny the existence of God. Now that comes very important into who I am. And this is I'm getting very deep into the discussion, and maybe if I have any younger viewers, they may not understand what I'm quite saying. I'm just hoping that some of the older viewers may be able to sort of understand what I'm saying, and not just shrug it off as bullshit. So basically, so what was I going on about? Okay, so I was talking about spirit science. Now, another part of spirit science is dreaming, and lucid dreaming. Now, if you know what lucid dreaming is, that is a way in which you move your astral body, which is technically just you and your dream state, your consciousness, your mind, and you project yourself in a different area of the world without actually moving. So this leaves you, how do I explain? It's basically like saying, hey, so you're basically able to see someone all the way across the world who you shouldn't be able to see, but you can see them, if you kind of get what I mean. So, I can't explain this better. So you're able to travel, you're able to fly, you're able to do all this magical stuff in a spirit sort of state instead of a physical body state. Now, they say you can only really achieve this you may achieve this just randomly, or it may take years of meditation to achieve. They also talk about trying to connect with animals. So that goes from meditation with animals, trying to tell them what to do with your mind rather than give them orders from like oral orders or anything like that, if you kind of get what I mean. Sorry if I'm just going on a rant here, but I just decided to talk about this. There are some other topics I'll probably get into later on. I was thinking of maybe talking about relationships and how that comes in contact with life, and how lots of people say like, oh yeah, I like you, or whatever, and how relationships are kind of just really lust after a person rather than true, like, because the true emotion of love is really just lust. I should just leave that for another day though. So I'll come back today. I'll just bookmark that. So also I'm going to talk about another theory of evolution that can come with spirit science, which is the stone monkey theory. Now, the stone monkey theory I learned from the Joe Rogan experience. Now, the stone monkey theory is that we basically, so we started off as apes, so we're just apes, yeah, basic tools, basic living, all that, and then we decide, and then the climate changed, so we couldn't feed off a fruit we used to feed off, and we had to change our diet. Now, this change in diet led to us eating mushrooms. Now, the thing about these mushrooms were, they were psychedelic mushrooms, and this is where the stone monkey theory comes in, where they say that it was these psychedelic trips that brought us close together as a community, rather than how you see apes. Like, if you study apes, then you'll see that they're actually quite vicious animals. Now, the stone monkey theory is that they had these psychedelic experiences that drew them together to become a bigger community rather than a smaller sort of community that were fighting over each other. I'm getting close to the wrapping up point of this episode. I have to start wrapping up soon. I'll probably continue this conversation in part 2, but until then, I'll just keep going for another few minutes. So basically, yeah, so that's just an experience with evolution where we were able to grow basically smarter because of these psychedelic mushrooms and these psychedelic trips that ancestor, I don't know what you call them. I'm just going to call them apes from now on because that's just nice and easy. And I've hit bedrock. Okay. So basically, it's just a way to view how we became this community, how we developed so much faster than most animals. Okay, sorry about clearing my throat there. now I'm just kind of clearing my thoughts here. Now we get down to sort of, I guess you would call it. Actually, let me go back down. Sorry. Okay. So, life as I see it is mostly pointless, apart from, mating. I see life as a part of mating. Now, spirit science gives us a meaning of life. It says that we're all here for a reason. Our spirits came down from a higher dimension to live a sort of life, and most of us forget what we're here to do. I call bullshit. I think consciousness is something that lives in the brain and dies in the brain after the brain is dead. That's just the way I view it. You can view it any way you really like. I just call bullshit that we have a consciousness that lives on. I don't believe that can actually happen. Now, another way to view the universe that I can see spirit science kind of taking control over is technically everything exists, but nothing exists at the same time. So technically, you could say that everything exists only because we believe it exists, meaning only because a higher consciousness has created everything. That's the only reason why everything exists in the world. So with that argument, you could technically say that we are all just, I guess, part of, how would you call it? Part of a single consciousness. Now, this is also what spirit science goes into. I'm just going off what I've seen or what I've read. They go on to talk about how I'm flailing my arm around like an idiot right now. So they go on to talk about how every animal and every human is connected in some shape or form, and how we're connected by these invisible links, and that's how we know how to do certain things that we shouldn't actually be able to know how to do, if you get what I mean. So like in an experiment where they showed a picture in Australia of certain faces, like of a picture of like faces, okay, only, I think it was less than half, yeah, they saw like about 70% of the faces, I believe, maybe less than that, until they took the exact same picture to England and broadcasted the picture and showing everyone every single last photo, like every single last face in the photo. Then they took the photo back to Australia and showed it to some test subjects again, and they were able to point out almost every single face in that picture. They believe that's enough evidence to. They've also done a few things with monkeys, giving them potatoes and covered in sand, so the monkeys would wash them off, and that would soon travel to other islands that were completely impossible for those monkeys to know how to do it. So that's also quite interesting about life, how everything can possibly be connected to a single consciousness, like consciousness of life. Well, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Like, favorite, comment, all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next video.